All right, so we're gonna start popping in the floor. So we're gonna look at a few things here. I'm gonna look at my east elevation. Quite simply, it's what we think it is. You know, we had the first floor set at 0, second floor set at 11, and 21 foot set for the roof line. And again, guys, remember, this is definitely parametric. So as I change this, if I change
Mr.
this,
Walker,
yes, ma'am.
a couple of our virtual machines aren't loading yet, so could you wait a minute?
Sure, sure, sure. I'm just gonna. How about I just talk about a few like principles while they're all going?
Okay.
Okay, that's perfect. So, just remember that like these things are all connected, right? So that 24 foot, um, that's now what this constraint of this wall is. So if I went back to these walls, simply like tap tab and selected the walls, you can see here that the base constraint is first floor, the top constraint is roof. So as we adjust these values here, those things will maintain their constraints. So just remember that like revises, and so I literally said Revit stands for revise instantly. So if you guys can just kind of remember that as you change something, it's going to change it throughout the entire set unless you have like unless you have specific overrides set. So sorry, taking a sip of coffee here. So going back to my first floor plan, we also want to make sure that these walls are set properly. So like these interior walls, I'm just going to highlight them all, and I'm going to look at a couple things. I'm going to deselect. I hold my shift key. I'm going to deselect my two doors. I can see over here that my base constraint for these walls are my first floor, which makes sense. But my top constraint is my second floor level. So as I look at this, my second floor level is 11 feet tall. As we go back and look at these walls, you can actually see here that the height is 11 feet. And that's, again, because it's connected, right? So I'm going to poke at this at 3D, look at it. And again, you can see that those walls are shorter. If I select these little planes out here, you can see that my walls go under that because that's the first floor height. If I select this, you can see here that the plane is literally at the top of those walls. You can see it right there very clearly. That ends up being my second floor height, and then obviously we have a roof height, which everything is underneath of that roof plane, right? So the tops of those walls are connected to that roof plane. So just remember that these things are again dynamic. If I changed it here, I changed this to 15 feet. I went back to my east elevation. You'll see here now that went up, right? So um, I just trying to reiterate the fact that everything's all tied together and everything's locked and it's all very intelligent. So now what I want to do is I actually want to generate a floor. So I'm going to go under architecture and I'm going to find a floor. And I want to make sure that I'm very clear in explaining the floor is created under the location that I'm in. So I'm on the first floor plan. So this is actually going to create the first floor deck. And quite simply, I'm just going to select these outside walls. And you'll see here that it makes a perimeter. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to hit OK. All right. So let's look at it in 3D and see what we got. We got a floor, right? And just like we did with the walls, I want you guys to note something here. Let me select it in 3D so I can actually grab it. That floor is set as a generic 12-inch floor. So just like the walls, you have some other options here, right? So this is wood floor truss with carpet finish. This is a 10-inch wood floor. This is a ceramic. This is these are vinyl tiles. These are metal, right? So you have all these different options. Um, I'm going to leave it for the generic 12 and go into edit real quick and just show you that just like with the wall again, you end up with this same dialog box. And I'm not expecting you guys to do this yet. I'm just explaining again sorry, Rhea. Yeah. So this is still just going to be like explanation of how these things would work. I'm not expecting you guys to do this quite yet. But I could go in and edit this, and just like before, I could add in, different layers. So I could add in a wood structure. I could add in a plywood. I could add in carpet or tile or whatever. And then that would actually build my floor. I would hit apply. I would hit OK. Again, I'm not doing it for real. I basically just wanted to create a generic 12-inch floor. Okay, so I'm going to delete that again, and I'm just going to go back to my first floor, and I'm going to recreate that floor one more time. Now, this part I am going to ask you guys to do, and I know your machines aren't up and running yet, but basically what you would do is you would select your floor button. Over here on the left, you'll see that it defaults to that generic 12-inch floor. For this example, completely fine. And by default, it's in the pick wall selection mode, which is this little button right here. It's just called pick walls. Essentially, all I'm going to do is select the walls I want the floor to go around. Click, 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 click. Once I've got it, this is the part that a lot of you guys will mess up on. You guys will go, oh, cool, I selected my floor, and then you'll go like this. And you'll go, wait, I don't see my floor. The only step you missed was you didn't hit the check mark, which basically says I'm done. Okay? I'm going to go back to my 3D view. You'll see that my floor is back. All right, so that will essentially give us how to create our floor. So we just generated our first floor. Let me just see by show of hands in the chat. Who got their virtual machine up and running and was able to pop in that floor real quick?
I have a question. You said check mark. What was that?
So, yep, let me go back and do the floor one more time. So I'm going to delete my floor, go back to my first floor plan, and I'm going to select the floor button. I'm going to select my outside perimeter walls. Click, 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 click. Once I've selected my floor, right here in the very, very middle of my ribbon up top, there's a little button that just says finish. It's just a little check mark. And then I can verify that my floor came up in 3D. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So it looks like just about half of you were able to generate. So do me
Mr.
another
Walker.
favor. Yes.
Sorry, I have a quick question. So you're in 3D view. How are you doing the rotating? Like I can use my mouse to move, but I can't rotate around my
Question. Hold shift.
Mm-hmm.
You have a mouse?
Yeah. Oh, there it goes.
There
okay.
you go.
Thank you.
Hold shift and hold your wheel.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So what I'm going to do me a favor. If you already have your raise hand button, I'm assuming that your virtual machine is up and running. Do me another favor. Leave your hand up if it is up. If your virtual machine is up and running now, go ahead and hit your raise hand button for me. So you guys don't have your virtual machines up and running. Okay. All right. So hold on a second here. How do I pause a recording? Can I pause?